Morning, everyone. It's Friday the 13th. This is your pre-opening comment, and it is video number 895. And again, I remind everyone, please hit that subscribe button so that you support us, and secondarily, hit the notification bell so that you know when there's something new that's come out. Okay, the big news today. News on two fronts. FDA COVID booster. Looks like the FDA has approved for emergency use both Pfizer and Moderna's vaccine for a booster shot for those who are over 65 or have immunosuppressed. Personally, I'm pleased with it, living with a liver transplant patient who gets really not much coverage at all from what they've already been given. But both Pfizer and Moderna were up on that news, and I consider it to be good news. Also, import and export prices. Import prices were up 0.3%. Expectation was for 0.6, so that's a big positive. And that's a month-over-month basis. On a year-over-year basis, we're still way high at 10.2% up. Export prices, which I think is also good news, up 1.3% versus expectations of 0.8%. So we're saving a little on the imports, and we are getting a bit more for the export. So 1.3 on a month-over-month basis. On a year-over-year basis, 17.2% up. And the all-time high was up 17.5%. So more expensive exports, less expensive imports should help the balance of payments for our trade. Okay, I'm sure that everybody now knows by now that Disney had a huge beat, both top and bottom line. The stock is up about $10, and that adds about $60 in Dow points, although that's about all of the rise in the Dow, which is showing up $71. PPC, Pilgrim's Pride, being bought by JBS. That's the company that we had the cyber security issue with not too long ago. JBS owns most of it already. They're bidding 26.5 for the 20% or so that they don't own. That's cash, and it was up about 18%. Airbnb earnings last night beat revenues up 300%, but the guidance was a little lower. And so Airbnb has been a bit on the weak side. As you can see, it had closed yesterday 151. It traded down as low as 143.5. Last is 147.25 or so, down about 388 or 2.7%. So not overwhelming, but kind of a surprise. Wish, WISH, another recent deal that has traded with the meme stocks. It's Context Logic, and as you can see, their stock closed yesterday at $9.41, trading this morning $6.77 with a low of $6.53. That was a miss and a larger loss than expected, and poor guidance, so that's down about 28%. CRCT, Cricut. Same situation, except that this one was a downgrade by more Morgan Stanley, who has been the hammer in a bunch of stocks over the last couple of days. This one is down 26%, 25.75 down $8.76. And SOFI also had earnings last night, and frankly, they weren't terrible. They beat on revenues, they missed on earnings, but again, the issue was guidance, and guidance for the next quarter looking not great. So that one was giving it up pretty hard last night. Closed yesterday 1746. What was interesting here was that the 17.5 calls that expire today were actually still trading. Just see if I have it here on the list. They closed at $1.05. So they were 4 cents out of the money, closed at $1.05. Of course, they're going to be worthless first thing this morning because they expired today. So there's no hope for those coming back. But this was a bit of a surprise. And one that I've mentioned to you a couple of times this week, Fulcrum. Fulcrum had news here. It had closed on Monday at 8:33. They had news overnight Monday night about a sickle cell anemia product. And as you can see, the stock really took off, traded as high as 22. And then they announced $100 million worth of stock issue. And that did not stop it. A lot of these names that all of a sudden have seen meteoric rises, and clearly 125% in a day is a meteoric rise, have taken the opportunity to do deals to raise money. So this one did, and it didn't affect it at all. In fact, if you look at it on a weekly basis, it's got to be one of the biggest winners. Currently 22.66, up 14.56 for the week, 180%. So pretty interesting there. Okay, as far as futures go, the gold is up about 9, oil down a little on those COVID concerns. The coffee has seemingly come back in and come right back to support, and seems to be holding there pretty well, still riding the 5 and the 20-day moving average with a series all this week of higher highs and higher lows after coming down here and testing this important breakout that basically took us from 166 all the way up to 212, which was an unbelievable ride. And so we're at the low this morning on a very short range day, but we're still in JO, which is the ETF that I use to trade the coffee. We sold some in here at 54.84. It hit 58, has come back down. We are up $2 and change this morning pre-market, and we still have half, and I think it cost us about $40 or so. So it's not a bad looking position. Bitcoin and Ethereum both gaining back the majority of yesterday's loss. Bitcoin now above yesterday's loss. Yesterday we were down 2,095. This morning we're up 2,275. Same thing with Ethereum. It was down 100 and change, now up almost 200. The bonds are having their first day of a rally. As I mentioned last night, I kind of was hoping we'd see a little bit of an up move yesterday so that we negated all of these. This is 6 days down in a row, which is pretty extreme for the bonds, but the 30-year bond auction yesterday was a horrendous mess. Rates moving higher on the deal. They did the deal. It took 4 basis points above the when issued market to get that done. Okay, everyone. Good Friday the 13th. Oh, by the way, if you're an owner or a buyer of the Ford Bronco, you can put your plans on hold. They have a huge problem with their plastic molded tops for those vehicles, but only if you live in a place where it ever rains or gets any heat. And so there is going to have to be a replacement of all of those based on quality control. So not so great news. All right, everyone. Have a good Friday the 13th and a nice weekend. And I'll be back if there's anything to talk about during the day. Don't forget to hit that notification bell once you're a subscriber so that you know if we're putting anything out. Have a good one.